Chapter I. How Diana gave birth to Eurydia, Herodias. It is Diana. Lo. She rises crescented, Kratz and Endymion, make more bright. Star Queen's crescent on her marriage night. Ibid. This is the gospel of the witches. Diana greatly loved her brother Lucifer, the god of the sun and of the moon, the god of light, splendor, who was so proud of his beauty, and who for his pride was driven from paradise. Diana had by her brother a daughter, to whom they gave the name of Eurydia, that is Herodias. In those days there were on earth many rich and many poor. The rich made slaves of the poor. In those days were many slaves who were cruelly treated. In every palace tortures, in every castle prisoners. Many slaves escaped. They fled to the country. Thus they became thieves and evil folk. Instead of sleeping by night, they plotted escape and robbed their masters, and then slew them. So they dwelt in the mountains and forests as robbers and assassins, all to avoid slavery. Diana said one day to her daughter Eurydia, "'Tis true indeed that thou spirit art, but thou wert born but to become again immortal. Thou must go to earth below to be a teacher unto women and men who fain would study witchcraft in thy school. Yet like Cain's daughter thou shalt never be, nor like the race who have become at last wicked and infamous from suffering. As are the Jews and wanderings in Greece, who are all thieves and knaves, like unto them ye shall not be. And thou shalt be the first of which is known, and thou shalt be the first of all the world, and thou shalt teach the art of poisoning those who are great lords of all. Yea, thou shalt make them die in their palaces. And thou shalt bind the oppressor's soul with power. And when ye find a peasant who is rich, then ye shall teach the witch, your pupil, how to ruin all his crops with tempests dire, with lightning and with thunder, terrible, and with a hail and wind. And when a priest shall do injury by his benedictions, ye shall do to him double the harm, and do it in the name of me, Diana, queen of witches all. And when the priests or the nobility shall say to you that you should put your faith in the Father, Son, and Mary, then reply, your God, the Father, and Maria are three devils, for the true God the Father is not yours. For I have come to sweep away the bad, the men of evil, all will I destroy. Ye who are poor suffer with hunger keen, and toil in wretchedness, and suffer too full oft imprisonment, yet with it all ye have a soul, and for your sufferings ye shall be happy in the other world, but ill the fate of all who do ye wrong. Now when Eurydia had been taught to work all witchcraft, how to destroy the evil race of oppressors, she imparted it to her pupils, and said unto them, When I shall have departed from this world, whenever ye have need of anything, once in the month, and when the moon is full, ye shall assemble in some desert place, or in a forest all together join to adore the potent spirit of your queen, my mother, great Diana. She who fain would learn all sorcery yet has not won its deepest secrets, then my mother will teach her, in truth all things as yet unknown. And ye shall all be freed from slavery, and so ye shall be free in everything. And as the sign that ye are truly free, ye shall be naked in your rights, both men and women also. This shall last until the last of your oppressors shall be dead, and ye shall make the game of Benevento extinguishing the lights. And after that shall hold your supper thus. Chapter 2. The Sabbath. Trigund or witch meeting had to consecrate the supper. Here follows the
Chapter 2. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Ceremonial Witch, back up in this bitch. Sorry, I have a problem with liking to rhyme too much. But anyways, what's going on? A little bit of Charles Leland instead of some pop punk fucking music like I've been doing. And like I said, I'm not advocating or saying I like, or I do like those songs that I do play on here. I'm not gonna lie, they're on my playlist. But yeah, listen to shit that's gonna help you, and that's what I do. I don't give a shit if it's liked or not liked. If it's gonna be in line with what I'm doing in my fucking magic, well, I'm gonna listen to it. You know, I'm not gonna listen to something that's gonna fuck up my magic. But anyways, Gospel of the Witches, Charles fucking Leland. Paid a witch or slept with that witch. I'm pretty sure it's paid the witch to grab the papers from her coven, sneak him out to him, and he published it. I bet you she got. I don't want to think about what happened to her. Maybe it was all part of the act. Maybe they were really making. Maybe Charles Leland thought, that was his plan, but maybe it was really the witch's plan the whole time to get Charles Leland to do that. Maybe they had him under their spell. Who knows? I'd like to think so. I don't like to think Leland fucked over some coven of witches, and the witches turned on that other witch. I like to think that they did it and made him think he was doing it. So, if anything bad happened, he would take the fall or whatever. But anyways, I figured I'd play that for anybody out there, because as my title says, Ceremonial Witch. I am like I said, I'm not going to say I'm a blood witch or anything like that. My grandmother and her mother were witches, and by that I just mean they were seven sisters and had some fucking powers. Whether you want to call that a witch, whether you want to call that they were fortune tellers, they were healers, and to me that's a witch. She could tell people's tea leaves. She could have premonitions when something bad was going to happen. I mean, my grandpa would actually feel the bed shaking too, because she was shaking, or however it worked out. Picture frames would fall. I mean, she was kind of trained to believe in Jesus and told to stop believing in or using her powers as a child. So she had Jesus pictures on the wall, but when something bad would happen, those Jesus pictures actually were the first ones that would fall off the walls, believe it or not. So I don't know what that's about, and you can make of that what you want, but I like full moons. Who doesn't, right? If y'all have need of something, once a month, some desert place, meet up. Best the moon is full. Come on, it doesn't get much better than that. Like, they're basically telling us that once a month we can ask for whatever we want, within reason, of course. In one of my previous episodes, I said there's some basic necessities. This is coming from Birch too. I mean, and the books I've read. But, there's basic necessities that you can have and that you're allowed to have, as free people. We're supposed to have certain things, and if our government or where we live is not providing these specific things, well, you do the magic route to get them. But if you want extras and shit like that, then yeah, you're going to have to pay and pony up some incense and some candles and some of your blood and some other shit, And it doesn't have to be weird. I mean, it can be. If you don't want to cut your arm and pour blood on some, I mean, that's all the power to you. But I'm a man. I shave. When I shave, I get cut. When I get cut, I bleed. When I bleed, I put it in something and I use that. Now, maybe that's not the same kind of sacrifices they're looking for, but I didn't want to bleed. And to me, like I said before, blood is very, very weird and precious. I don't like giving it to just anybody. But I trust the spirits a hell of a lot more than I trust a fucking hospital and the government with my fucking blood. I'll tell you that right now. But anyways, and maybe that's stupid, and maybe that's not right, and maybe that's not unwise by me, but fuck it, I don't care. Like I said, I speak to my spirits and the shit around me and my ancestors and all that. That's my witchcrafty side there. I like to get in touch with my grandma. Sorry, not my great grandma, but my grandma. All my grandmas. But that's another story. But I wanted to drop that as a beginning instead of a song because, I find it fitting today. For me, in my time zone, it was 4:30 a.m. I use the calendar at, I think it's AstroSeek. The moon calendar tells me if the moon's waxing or waning, what sign it goes into, and what time it goes into that sign. Now, I'm not sure. I want to say it's Sagittarius or Capricorn. For some reason, I always get those two confused, and I don't mean to sound like a newbie, but I am. But one of those two is, that's where it's going. Yeah, it's going into Sagittarius. Sorry, it's going from Sagittarius into Capricorn as of 1614. Wait a minute, I'm on the wrong month here. Oh, what an idiot. No, I'm not. I'm on the right month. All right. So, full moon, Monday. Wow. Oh, I'm not in my right time zone. That's why. But anyways, so I'm not going to go fix the time zone because I'm going to be distracted and have trouble. But Sagittarius is going in. It's in Sagittarius, and it's going to be going into Capricorn at some point today. My time zone, it said 4:30 was when my full moon was, and it was AM. This one's now saying 8:30. So if it's saying it's entering Capricorn at 16:14, well then I'm guessing we just minus 4 hours from that, and 16 would be 4 o'clock p.m. instead of the 4 a.m. that I had. So that would make it about, it already probably, for me, it already entered. It's already in Capricorn, I guess, now the moon. But anyways, good thing to have on your phone, somewhere to see that, even if you can only see when you have Wi-Fi, as long as you have Wi-Fi once a day at some point, whether it's Canada, Tim Hortons or McDonald's fucking drive-through, you can pick up their Wi-Fi real fast, even if you don't do anything or buy anything. But anyways, wanted to put that down. I wanted to drop the Charles Leland, the Iridia Gospel of the Witches. Very controversial book. A lot of different groups have changed stuff over and over again. If you are like me and are a big fan of Uncle Birch, Freak Phil, the Grand Poobah of the Circle A, which I am. I fucking absolutely think that guy's amazing. And a lot like the Gospel Radio Witches, when I first started watching his stuff, I had a hard time with it. Same with the Gospel, because, my grandma was a witch, and when I heard of the Queen of the Witches, which is the witch god, whatever, the Diana, who was, her daughter Aradia, came down in human and all that, and some pretty intense stuff that happened in that book. I'm not going to play the whole thing for you, but some pretty intense stuff. But that's kind of the point. It's duality. That's polarity I keep going on and on and on about. I mean, the moon is polarity. It has polarity right in it. The tree of life, it's right in the middle. And, on the one pole, it's the dark part of it. And on the light pole, it's the light part of it. I mean, it is what it is. We are capable of both bad and good things. If you are trying to depolarize yourself, but you still think that you're all good and that inside you don't have the capability to kill your mother, as much as that sounds bad, as much as that sounds terrible, I don't even like saying those words, but we all have that capability. We all have that instinct in us. And what separates the people who don't believe that can happen to the people like, let's say myself as an example. Now, I don't think I'm above or below or anywhere in the middle above anybody else. I don't judge a single fucking person or a single fucking thing. Like I said, the only real polarizing thing that I really truly know about, and I'm sure there's more than just this, but it's normally anything that has to do with my kids. And my kids get involved, my vision gets a little skewed, and I turn into a daddy more than a magician or witch. But besides that, I understand that I have those things in me, and I am doing everything possible to make sure that I don't use any of those bad or any of those good things for any bad reasons. I'm not going to kill my mother or someone else's mother. I'm not going to try to change somebody out of love either. I'm not going to go to either extremity. I'm not going to beat the shit out of somebody if they start making fun of my Ceremonial Witchcraft show and think I'm an idiot and I'm stupid and I don't know what I'm talking about. In the same sense, I'm not going to go to Christians and tell them to listen to my show and try to kill them with kindness and say, you guys, I'm just trying to help you. Please, what you're doing is wrong. I'm not going to do that either. I'm not going to do either one of those. I'm going to mind my business, not judge the Christians or the people that insult me, and I'm just going to do me. I don't know if there are people insulting me. I'm sure there is, and that don't matter. That doesn't matter. We are not here to judge other people. We are not the judge. The judge is Saturn or Satan or God. And that's kind of what I'm trying to hit at with Diana. She was both nice and not nice, or Aradia, both nice and not nice. And that's something we can't comprehend, and we're not supposed to comprehend it. And the fact that people try to comprehend and say, God is this, God is this, God is this. Once again, this is from Birch. Well, if you say God is, according to Birch, you're right. If you say God isn't, you're wrong. Because God is everything that we can comprehend and that we can't comprehend. And to me, that's legit and that's good. We keep trying to be like God, try to, we're supposed to evolve. We'll go up this hierarchy. Potentially, if you keep fucking up and not learning your lessons and you don't take magic or any other way, like whether it's fucking through yoga or whatever, if you don't evolve your minds and go up that hierarchy to become whatever's next. Say the next level is a benevolent spirit helping people out, coming back, say that's what it is, because say the next two steps are either being reincarnated if you haven't learned your lesson, or you have to come back as a spirit that someone channels and you actually help people. Now there are lower spirits or whatever. I mean, I'm just saying there's some hierarchy, and the point is to keep evolving higher up the chain so we do become like God. But probably the higher we evolve, the higher that evolves. In all spirit, I mean, no one knows how this can work because no one's died. People can channel things and get messages. But once again, that's coming through their body. So it's going to have whatever programs and anything that's running through them. Now, if that person is very, very well balanced and doesn't judge and doesn't anything, then they're going to have, some really good shit coming in. But once again, how do you measure that? I'm not trying to be skeptical because I believe in so much shit that most people would think, really, Corey, you believe in that? Yeah, fucking right I do. I believe anything's fucking possible. My God, I'm a ceremonial witch. Why can't there be everything possible? But that being said, you got to be skeptical of some things sometimes, and that's part of being polarized and depolarized. But Aradia, Gospel of Witches, check it out. It's not even a big book, 70 or 80 pages on the one I got. I think I have one with 100 pages, but I think there's a lot of double pages and pages in there with nothing on it. So it was just longer for no reason. Good read, pretty intense. There's other ones by Raven Grimassi where Aradia walks around more. It has like Jesus did, and I'll be honest. I didn't read that one. I started reading it and I never finished it, and I probably should because I do like Raven Grimassi and I like some of his works. I have a lot of his Thorn Blood Witch, some of the other stuff he wrote. I never finished that one. But check it out. It's good stuff. Now, next thing I want to get into is kind of the polarity, I guess. The polarity part of the moon. Because today is the full moon day. Now, we all missed it, I'm pretty sure anyways. I don't know. There might be some people at some place of the planet that haven't hit the full moon yet time. But, you should have been doing this probably yesterday morning kind of thing. When I was at 4 a.m., like I said, and I was up and I was staring at it and I had my little thing and she spoke to me. I mean, there was so many clouds going by fast and slow, and it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. The moon really does speak to me, and that's one of the reasons I have witch in my name, because that moon really does speak to me, and it's I can't really get into what it said to me because I am in the process of doing some spells and stuff by what was communicated to me. So, and I think I've went over this. I know the guys I promote go over this, but you don't talk about what you're doing because you're putting your energy all into what you're doing. And if you start telling people, well, it makes it less potent and people's mind get in there and fuck it up. And the same reason why you don't, especially when you're beginning, you don't do multiple operations at the same time because, unless you got a shit ton of energy or you know how to get more energy, if you're gonna do some middle pillars or microcosmic orbits for all these specific different things and different altars, and really step up your game and only do that, and say this is the energy for my egregore, this is the energy for this spell, this is the energy for the sigil, and do that. But I mean, you're probably gonna have to be years into it doing this shit. But unless you're gonna channel specific energy all just for your things, you do one thing at a time. Start off that way. But I like to, and I've been doing it like this almost since I started, except for probably my first two manifestations. And the second one I'm going to get into either tomorrow or the next day. It's going to be my very next video. I wasn't going to do one today. I was only going to do one tomorrow about my second manifestation and how I did it. But full moon, the way she talked to me and all that, I had to put an episode out for it. So this is just kind of like a little extra. And it might not even be the whole 40-some minutes, but it might be. I haven't decided yet. I'm kind of just ranting a little bit here. But since my third, manifestation, it's pretty sad that I keep count, but that's how you keep a journal. I mean, every book tells you to keep a journal. So anybody's like, I never keep count. Well, and then I guess you didn't journal right if you're not keeping count. I mean, yeah, okay, maybe you haven't counted it in a while, but there's definitely a count there. You're supposed to keep notes, right? But anyways, I think I touched on it many times, but waxing and waning, the moon. I'm always using the moon. Always, 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 always. Birch has a saying, it kind of goes in line with the whole getting in sync with nature thing I talked about last time, and that is when you're in sync with nature, you can kind of I said it last time, you can get lazy in the winter, horny in the spring, super excited, lots of energy in the summer, maybe a little depressed in the fall because everything's dying off. And when the moon waxes and wanes, you can get energy, you lose energy and stuff like that. And he's got that saying, you want to take the reins, not the ride. And going through all those slumps, once you're in tune with nature, could be kind of rough. So you still want to be in tune with nature, but you want to not be that affected by it. So you have to find ways to shake it up and all that. And he also uses that same saying for when witches can't do certain things, or ceremonial magicians can't do certain things because of the moon waxing and waning. You know, you want to draw money to you, but the moon is currently waning and it's not waxing. And waxing is generally the positive and waning is generally the negative. But in that regard, and this is how I kind of look at things, and this is how I kind of work around that. Your left hand is your negative hand, but it's also the one with the wand. And your athame would be in your right hand, which is the plus, and that's the one you cast your circle with for protection. It'd be the one you would tell the spirits to fuck off with. Sorry, I don't mean to offend any spirits or anything that's around me, but if there's demons or something around, or bad energy, you know, that's what you would push away. That's why it's the knife in that hand. And the other hand is your left hand. Now, when you have a money or a mojo bag or stuff like that, your left hand's your receiving hand. You want to pull money in with that hand. So there's another polarity within polarity there. Now, negative is also purge. Purging is pulling stuff from you. So you really, and I'm not going to tell you this because this is debated by a lot of people, you know, with the wand, the fire wand, or the fire dagger, or the air wand, or the air dagger, you know. And I say you kind of need both. And that's just my opinion. And this is how you get around these kind of things. This is how you get around that doing things different times of the month, because you can pull something out of you, but you can pull something to you. And you can push something out of you, and you can push something to you. Can you not? Probably not, right? No, you can only pull something out of you and pull something to you. And you can, no, you could do both. You can do both. There is both. It's all on how you program your mind to be, how you define those words to be, what's your polarity. More importantly, if you're going to do both, you just got to make sure they're coincide with each other, right? I would start with a waxing. Well, I mean, I'm not going to say start with a waxing. It depends on what you're doing, okay? If you're pulling an old paradigm of you're never going to be rich, you're always going to be poor out of your head, okay? You're going to want to pull that out of your head first. And then when the waxing moon comes around, you're going to want to push the new paradigm in there, the new program you want to put in there, right? Or vice versa. If you're better with the push, you want to push the old paradigm out of your head, and you want to pull the new paradigm into your head. It all depends on your energetic makeup. Okay? And what I mean by that is, I've said it before, I am mostly earth and water. And earth and water are the negatives on there, and air and fire are the positives on there. But we just said air and fire are also both positive and negative. How can this be? Well, this is how it can be. This is depolarization. People think you get depolarized and you're kind of all melancholy and anything can go. And, that kind of happens. But it also opens up these new levels of, there are 4 fucking elements. And, 5 with spirit. But there's 4. There's not just 2, But people that are polarized only see 2. They don't even know about the 4 elements. I mean, they know about them, but they don't deal with it. Polarized people aren't getting into magic. I mean, they shouldn't be. If they are, they're probably like, well, what the fuck am I going to use water and earth for? I just want a wand and a fucking dagger so I can either bring shit to me or stab fucking spirits. Fucking retards. That's all. Sorry, I don't mean to say that word. That's not nice. But my point is, once you get depolarized and you get into this, you're going to notice that there's not just 2. There's 4. And those 4 could probably turn to 8, and those 8 could probably turn to 16 and 32 and keep going. That's why we have these golden ratios and shit like that, because things keep going bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, but you can reduce it to its smallest point, and the smallest point is not 2. To me, it would be 4. You got the air wand, and you can say that one is positive and negative, and because, it's a positive thing, because you're drawing stuff to you, and the other one's a positive thing, because they're both masculine, right? They're both pole-looking things, right? Both dick-looking things. And water and earth are the ground, the flat things, the things you can stick stuff in, right? You can stick that piece of wood in the ground and it'll grow a tree. Or you can put that dagger in the water and the water will rust. You know what I mean? Or it'll make a hole in the ground. Or, you will cut the water. I don't know what I'm trying to go with that. But the point is, you got to figure out what these words mean to you when you do your spells. And whatever you do most or how you start is going to be right program. I program myself to do this. I'm kind of rambling, and I normally have some things written down on a piece of paper, so I stay on topic. So I'm sorry if it's really kind of fucked up today, my bad. But that's why it's kind of fucky, because I got nothing in front of me. I'm staring at my fucking big fucking clock in front of me in my kitchen, just waiting for my baby to wake up, which I'm gonna have to wake her up because she's not gonna sleep tonight if I let her sleep any longer. But you got to figure out what these mean, because I'm more negative. I look at negative as the positive thing. And all I mean by that is I'm going to be better with the negative. So when I started out, when I saw the negatives when I got into magic and I was told you need to get your birth chart because you need to know your energetic makeup. Okay, what's an energetic makeup? Well, it's the elements, how many elements you have, and of which, you can have half positive, half negatives. If you're going with just the 7 traditional planets and your 12 signs, you're going to see where they are and which ones are the best ones. And so, okay, you get a number, and I have this many and this many and this. And like I said, I got 3, and 2 are in air, 1's in fire, or vice versa. Sorry, I haven't looked at it in a while. And the rest are in, I think, 4 in earth, and 3 or 4 in, I forget. This one's got extra planets on it, so that's why that number is bigger. But you get what I'm getting at. I have more negatives than positives. Because I have more negatives than positive, I'm better with the negative pull. That's why the negative stuff to me has always been kind of like, well, because when people say negatives for purge, to banish stuff, for me it's like, well, can I pull money to me? Isn't the negative supposed to be the magnetic energy and the male energy, the positive, like projective energy? So if magnetic is the woman, or if magnetic is the negative energy, well, that if I want to be a money magnet, if I use a money magnet, wouldn't it make sense to pull that money to me? Wouldn't it make sense to use the negative part of the moon phase to pull that to me? And yes and no. It depends on if your system you're using doesn't go by that. You're using that system, and that system is using a different way to do that, then it may not work for you, because everybody who's ever used that system has used it that specific way. And if you go to try to change it, it'll probably backfire on you. But if you use your own version, your own system, if you say, I'm doing ceremonial witchcraft, and in ceremonial witchcraft, I do this, I use the negative part of the moon to pull money to me, then you're not going to have everybody's power behind it, but you're putting your own program in there, and through affirmation and repetition, it will work. This is how these things got started. This is how they got built. I'm not saying it's going to work great for you. I'm just saying mine's working pretty good for me, and I'm still doing it. But more importantly than that, okay, this is just some negative polarity and positive polarity. By depolarizing yourself, you can use both, okay? And that is also another way to be able to do magic all month long, and all you have to do is change your words around as well, all right? Now, what I'm saying is true, it's half true, and it's untrue all at the same time, because some people are going to think I'm fucking insane. I'm not making any sense. Some people are going to say, you know what? That makes sense. And people are going to be everywhere in between that. And that's the point, okay? We all have a different perspective on this. Everybody does. And it really matters what your programming is. And like I said, the system you're using, if it's got specific rules in it, then you might want to hear those specific rules. But if it doesn't, then you can play with this stuff. Or you change your wording around to mean different things, okay? Watch the negative speech in there. You don't want to put a negative in what a negative sentence already and making it a positive when you're trying to use the negative part of the month or a moon phase. But point is, you need to, I'm not trying to confuse anybody, but I'm pretty sure that's probably what I'm going to do with this. So maybe I should just delete this episode. I don't know. But I'm not going to just leave you with that. That would just be fucked up. But normally, the purge, the banishing, is the waxing phase, which is exactly what we start as soon as the full moon is done. This is the full moon day today. Boom. If you haven't done your full moon ritual yet, do it just as a sign of whatever. But technically, as soon as that full moon time has ended, then it's slowly starting to wane. It's waning till it's death. And the new moon, brand new, and now it's waxing to full. So that's the plus time. It's getting bigger. It's getting more light added to it until it's full. And then it hits full, and then it loses light, minus, all the way down until there's no light. New. And it keeps doing that. So normally when you want to get rid of something, you get rid of it during the negative time. And when you want to add something to you, you do it during the positive side. And I came in, I kind of fucked that up, saying, well, negative is pulling and positive is pushing, and well, I want to pull something to me instead of pushing something to me. And all I'm trying to say is that I'm pretty sure you can still do that too. And the only reason I'm saying it is because that's what I do, and it's been working for me. I mean, the first 10 grand, I didn't do any of that kind of stuff, and I got it, and so it has nothing to do with it. But the second time, I didn't even take into account of the moon. So when I was doing my spell work, I was doing it probably during the waning and waxing phase, and I got that second 10 grand again. But then the next 2 times after that, this is specifically what I did, and it specifically worked for me. So I don't want people to go out there and do exactly what I'm doing and think it's going to work for them. Because if you have all air and fire, and you got no water and no earth in your birth chart, then this shit may not work for you. That's all I'm saying. And like I said, I contacted, I try to channel, I try to meditate, and I put these questions in there because this is something I spent a lot of time on at one point because it really confused me. And that's probably because I was a very negatively energized person, right? A man, which is positive, but my shit is earth and air, earth and water, which are both negative, right? The water is very receptive. You see your reflection on it, reflects the sun's light off of it. But so that's my point. Get your birth chart, check it out, go from there. And if you're right in the middle, then you're probably gonna be able to use both right off the hop. You probably are a pretty balanced person, maybe. I don't know. I haven't seen a birth chart lie yet, but I'm not that deep into it, like I said before, anyways. But more importantly than that, okay, getting back to the whole, everything's a circuit. Now, you want a foolproof way to get stuff. It may take longer, but the best way to get yourself what you want is to send it to somebody else who you feel needs it more than you. Now, this is kind of like if you're doing charity just to fucking get the kudos or impress a girl or whatever, or if you think giving away money is the best way to get money kind of thing, well, then this may not work. But it still may, because everything has a circuit and everything has to return to you. So if you're doing spell work and you're casting for money and you want that money, well, why don't you send it to your moms who you still owe so much money to or something like that? Pay her off first. And you can say, you can give yourself the money, but it'd be better if you send it to her. What you go out has to come back to you, right? So if you get other people rich, you will get richer. If you uplift other people, you will be uplifted. It's another reason why I do these. I know I think I keep adding reasons almost every time, every third or fourth episode, but it's kind of a byproduct, sorry. It's not a reason, but it's a byproduct. If I help other people, then I'm going to get help. Because I'm at a point, too, right now where it's kind of like, all right, everything's going good. And I want the pendulum to keep swinging in my favor. I want it to keep, because I know the pendulum keeps going back and forth. And the goal of the magician is to not be swinging as much as possible, you know what I mean? Because if you're taking these big swings to the right, well, it's going to go right to the left. So right now, I'm kind of in the middle, and that's why you'll see a lot of people say, well, they'll tell magicians like, well, if magic is real and all that, how come you won the lottery? Well, the reason is because the bigger the win, the bigger whatever, the more of a loss you might have if you haven't came out of karma, or if you haven't gotten to grace and you're still stuck in karma. Some Edgar Casey shit I'm dropping there, and maybe I'll elaborate on a further video. But you want to be at the cause and not the effect, or the effect and not the cause. Yeah, anyways, point is the pendulum swings both ways, and the more you kind of don't move, because there's always going to be some moving, right? Depolarization, that's kind of the reason there being a neutrality. If you're neutral, then you're not really swinging too far each way, right? Obviously, you have to be swinging a little bit, because everybody is. So once you stop swinging, you're dead. Once you stop, there's no polarity, well, there's no charge anymore, you're dead. So you're trying to make sure you're not moving as much as possible, and that's something I just thought about maybe a couple of days ago, that if I uplift people and the information I actually give helps people, then it's going to in turn help me. And anything I may have done to make my pendulum swing the opposite way a little bit, well, this might help even it back out the other way, you know. I'm not saying do good because to counter effect your bad, but you always want to be striving to help people, because what you put out there comes back to you. So if you're only bringing in positive thoughts or good thoughts, helpful thoughts, good things, okay? Like I said, positive, negative, or directions and flow, push and pull kind of thing. But if you're only bringing in good thoughts, good emotions, then you're only going to send out good emotions. And if you only send out good emotions, then only good emotions come back in. Everything's the same thing. If you're only putting out good spells, you know, I send my mom some money, I send my gram some money, I send my uncle some healing, I send my cousin some healing, I send my my second aunt's brother, sister, lover, since they never got back with somebody 10 years ago when their husband died or whatever. And, you know, all these good things will come back to you. Now, are you going to get the money you sent to your mom? No. But you're going to get some energy back from that. And I don't know what form it's going to take, but I know that it goes around, comes around. So if you're going out gossiping about people, you're going to get gossip back. If you go around talking shit about people, people are going to talk shit about you. If you go around saying, I want to do this, I want to do that, or you actually go around fucking things up, well, then your shit's going to get fucked up. It just goes around, comes around. So if you're putting out the bad stuff comes back. If you're putting out the good stuff comes back. So if you don't want to mess around with all this polarity stuff and defining the plus and the minus and all that, okay, then do what I do now. You put out good things for good people and you get good stuff back to you, because now you're good people. You know what I mean? If you're trying to be a good person and you're doing things that is in line with being a good person, you know, and once again, you know, your definition of a good person could be someone else's definition of a bad person. But that's why you send out things that to certain people that you know they like. I mean, like I said, to my mom, family time is more valuable than money. But she still likes money. I mean, who doesn't? But point is, you know, if I want to send her something, well, who hasn't she seen in a while? Or who's somebody she'd like to make contact with? Or what's something she said she wanted to do? Okay, well, cast for that opportunity to happen, or for us all to get together to do that, you know, and that's going to make her happy. And I'm doing it just to make her happy. So I'm going to get something in return for that. Like I said, you're not really supposed to do it for getting what you want, but it's a way to get around the polarity thing if you really don't know how to push and pull and all that. And I don't think that's a big problem for people. I think most people get the push and pull thing. I just wanted to talk about the moon a lot today, and I wanted to talk about that because I know it bugged me a bit. And, you know, that's the answer I got from myself, my subconscious, my angels, I guess, whoever I was contacting. And that's the answer they gave me, that I could pull money towards me using that part of the moon. I really could. As long as I wasn't using specific stuff to do it, like a specific tradition that tells you to do the opposite or something like that. If I truly believe it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Sorry, not believe, faith. Absolute faith in something will make it happen. That's why churchgoers can pray to God. If they pray the right way and envision what's going to happen, they have absolute faith it's going to happen, and they just forget about it, well then yeah, they can heal their loved ones and shit like that. Because that part of the tree of life, faith, I can't remember everything that goes with that, so I'm sorry. But I'll get into that on a future video. But if you have absolute faith and you do everything else right, like putting your emotion into your prayer and you're visualizing as if it's already happening, then yeah, you don't need the candles, you don't need all this stuff. You probably don't even need to reprogram your mind. Now, there are still some programs in there that can fuck that shit up, but if there's nothing, if there's nothing blocking it, then yeah, this is that simple, you know? Most people can't do that because nowadays, you know, most people have been watching TV since they were a kid, you know what I mean? The TVs have been around for a while, so we're all getting programmed. But before, people weren't getting programmed, so that's probably why church was a hell of a lot more popular, because people were actually probably getting maybe the what was needed, you know what I mean? If they were employing faith and into their prayer and praying right, then they probably got results for when they prayed. So they had a reason to believe in God. They had a reason to think Jesus and God was real. But the more we're getting programmed by the TV and wanting more stuff, when we're going to church and we're praying for the stuff, but no one's praying the right way, well, no wonder everybody's turning all these different old traditions and doing all these things, because it's not working anymore. And I'm not saying God is or isn't real. I'm not saying that system does or doesn't work. All I'm saying is if you use faith correctly, if you have absolute faith in what you're doing, and you have a program in your mind that coincides and is in line with that faith. Like I said, my grandma, I knew she was a witch since I was a kid. Now that I'm doing this witchy shit, it's fucking working for me. And that program's still in there, and that's one I never got rid of. Why the fuck would I get rid of that? That'd be stupid to get rid of that now, right? But I got rid of all the religious stuff. But if I would have kept that religious stuff in there and just learned the right way to pray and absolute faith, it'd probably still be working for me right now too. I'd have to be going to church every Sunday. So, but I do my own worship here. That's what I tell my family. I'm like, I don't, they say to keep the Sabbath holy, right? The day of the Sabbath or whatever, but there's a different God or goddess every day of the week. So I go to my altar one every day of the week for that God or goddess. Simple as that. And that's how I hit them all. And that's how I receive and give and get rid of my shit that I need to. Anyways, pretty ranty today, I gotta say. But like I said, if you send good energy, you'll get good energy back, if you're going to use the polarity of the moon, you should make sure you're in line with the moon. Starting projects on the new moon is best. Not starting projects right after full moon is not really kind of out of sync, right? But yeah, you gotta get yourself in sync with nature, and yeah, check out the Charles Leland book. It's not a bad read. It's a little intense and shit like that, but it's a pretty good read. But anyways, I hope I didn't confuse anybody too much. Like I said, I'll go over the basics once more real fast in case anybody's actually listening to me to learn from me. I hope not, but no, I'm just kidding. I hope so. I hope I actually am helping you guys out. And I truly love that I've got like 222 downloads right now. 222, baby. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And like 62 plays or something like that, which is kind of weird. It's normally like 280 plays on the one screen, but the next screen it breaks it down like, well, these are plays on demand and these are downloads. But anyways, so yeah, the negative moon is when you're shedding stuff. You want to get rid of some fat. And the positive times when you want to gain that fat, basically. If you want to add money, you would normally ask for that after on the full moon. But starting of the new moon, because the new moon is like the ending of the waning. Hold on. Yeah, the new moon is like the ending of the waning and the beginning of the waxing. Right on that line. Damn, that's when it starts, okay? New moon is when it has absolutely no light to it. It's just subtracted to nothing. It's basically a zero there. And then the minute it starts going the opposite direction, that's your waxing, okay? And it's getting bigger to full. So new moon is like the last time. It's kind of like the full moon, right? On the best to be on the full moon. Well, the full moon is when she's her fullest. It's when she got to her age 50, she's right at the top of the hill or whatever, and then she starts declining to old age and becoming a senior and all that shit, okay? That's the celebrity, she was popular in her 20s, and then she had 10 good years, and then she starts declining from 30 to 40 kind of thing. Well, that's how it works, the new moon to that 30 age there for the celebrity, and then that 30 to 40 is right back to the full moon is right at the 30 there, popular, the height of her career, and then from 30 to 40 she's back to that new moon or whatever, and has to either restart or have a baby or do some fucking reality TV or something, I don't know. But anyways, take her shirt off, show her tits. Sorry, that's kind of vulgar. I got 2 daughters. Why would I talk like that? My bad. Anyways, this has been the Ceremonial Witch. I hope I haven't confused you too much. Like I said, if you want good things, send good things out there. It's got to come back to you. Everything's a circuit. Everything comes back to the source. That's the reason you don't do bad magic. That's why you don't send people bad things. You can pull from people too. You can pull their money from them, or you can push their money away from them if you want. But then your money's going to get pushed or your money's going to get pulled. So don't do that shit. Anyways, we want to make the world a better place, and this is how you do it. If you're sending out good thoughts to other people, then they're going to keep sending it out to other people. They're going to be so happy that they got good stuff. They're going to be like, what the fuck? I never get anything. How did this happen? And the sheer fact that you don't say, hey, I did it. You don't take ownership for it is even better. You know what I mean? And then that's how you're going to get your shit in the long run. But going up to your mom and be like, Mom, remember that $500 you got? Yeah, I sent it to you. Well, don't expect you to get yours back, because she's going to be happy and she's going to praise you, and you're going to get it directly that way. You're going to get her energy directly on you with a big hug and a kiss and all this gratitude, and she might even give you some of it back or whatever. But point is, don't say anything. Don't fuck it up. Let it happen. Let it take its course. And that's how you'll change the world. You send out good vibes will come back. You send out good energy comes back. You want to fuck up the world? Send out bad vibes. I don't suggest that. I don't want that. I don't think you should do that. But anyways, sorry it was so ranty. Full moon days always make me and my daughter stay up late. And we can't sleep right. And we always have this crazy amount of energy on these days. And everything's all crazy. This is the whole being in sync with nature thing. But anyways, have a good one. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.